The June data is out from REcolorado, and this month's report is really a tale of two stories. On the local market side, Denver prices are steady, pace is normal, and inventory keeps tightening. Nothing dramatic. But on the financing side, mortgage rates just climbed to their highest levels since August of last year, and that shifts some of the math for both buyers and sellers heading into the second half of summer. So this is my July 2026 Denver Metro Market update. I pull the actual MLS numbers every month, not the national headlines, not the doom and gloom hot takes, just the real data for the communities where you are actively buying and selling. So here's what we are covering: the headline numbers for the metro prices by submarket, what pace and days on market look like, and why rates have moved the way they did, and what all of this means for you right now. So let's get into it. Let's start at the top. The metro median home price for June of 2026 came in at $614,000, and that is up just 1% year over year and unchanged from May. The price growth has slowed compared to the 3% year over year that we saw in the May report, but it's not declining, it is stabilizing. Closed homes came in at 4,024 homes, essentially flat year over year. So buyer demand is steady, it's not accelerating, but it's also not softening. Pending contracts were up 2% year over year to 3,867, a leading indicator that continues to point in a healthy direction. Days in MLS came in at 19 days. That is just 3 days longer than May, but identical to June of 2025. That is normal seasonal shift as spring urgency fades into the summer rhythm. Active inventory dropped another 9% year over year to 12,508 listings, about 13 weeks of supply, so it's a tightening market still. So let's break this down by submarket. The city of Denver is sitting at $620,000. Single family demand is steady, condos continue to move more slowly, and that is where buyer negotiating room still exists in the urban core. Arvada is at $588,000, still one of the most active suburban markets in the metro. Old Town continues to drive demand, and well-priced homes in the $500,000 to $650,000 range are moving in under 3 weeks. Broomfield is tracking at $614,000, right at the metro median. The Denver-Boulder location advantage keeps the submarket steady month to month. Lakewood at $558,000 remains the best value play close to the mountains. Outdoor lifestyle buyers keep this market consistent. And Centennial is leading the group at $648,000. The Cherry Creek School Premium remains intact, and this is still the fastest moving submarket at 17 days on market. Littleton at $578,000 is balanced and active. Historic downtown Littleton and Chatfield access continue to deliver. So the pattern here is consistent with what we've seen all spring. Modest, sustainable appreciation across the metro. No submarket showing meaningful decline, no submarket running hot. So the metro-wide median days on market came in at 19 days in June, and that's 3 days longer than May, but identical to June of 2025. Centennial is moving the fastest at 17 days, Arvada is at 18, Broomfield and Littleton at 20, Lakewood at 21, and the city of Denver at 23, slightly slower, but still under 4 weeks. For sellers, 19 days is a normal, healthy pace. What is worth noting is what is happening at the tail end. Homes that came to market correctly priced are still moving in 2 to 3 weeks. But overpriced listings that would have gotten courtesy showings in April are now sitting untouched. Price reductions are picking up across the metro as sellers who miss the mark chase the market down. For buyers, the message stays the same as June. If the right home hits your search, do not wait. The 19-day median means you have maybe a week to decide before another qualified buyer submits. Now here is what has actually shifted since the last month. As of July 23rd, Freddie Mac put the 30-year fixed at 6.58%. This is the highest rate that we've seen since August of last year. To give you the trajectory, on July 2nd, we were at 6.43%, July 9th, 6.49%, and by July 16th, 6.55%. Now it's 6.58%. So in 3 weeks, we have climbed 15 basis points higher. So what is driving it? Two things. Renewed tensions in the Middle East have pushed oil prices higher, and higher oil prices feed inflation concerns, which push up bond yields, which pushes up mortgage rates. Until that geopolitical picture clears up, expect rates to stay near this upper end of the range. On a $614,000 home, the Denver median, with 10% down, you are now looking at about $3,527 per month in principal and interest. A month ago, at 6.47%, that same purchase was about $40 less per month. Small on a monthly basis, bigger when you factor it out over 30 years. Here is the more important takeaway though. The buyers who have been waiting for rates to drop dramatically should recalibrate. The 6% range is not going away this summer, and the buyers who commit to today's rate and refinance later, if rates do improve, they're usually the ones who end up in the strongest financial position. So what does all this mean if you're thinking about buying right now? First, rate lock matters more than it did a month ago. Get pre-approved with an active rate lock strategy in place, because we have seen 15 basis points of movement in 3 weeks, and that volatility is not going to disappear overnight. Second, inventory is still tightening. New listings are down 3% year over year. Active inventory is down 9%. There's no supply flood coming to bail you out. The affordability window is narrow between rate pressure and inventory pressure. Third, this is the moment to ask sellers about temporary rate buydowns. A 2-1 buydown funded by the seller can reduce your effective rate to about 4.6% in 1 year and 5.6% in year 2. On Denver priced homes, that is a serious concession that a lot of sellers will consider right now. And fourth, the submarket picture is unchanged. If you want the tightest markets, Centennial and Arvada. If you want value, Lakewood and Littleton. So if you are thinking about selling, this is a market that still works, but the strategy has to be right. Pricing correctly from day one is more important than it has been all spring. The market is not paying overpriced premiums right now. Homes that come in aspirationally priced are sitting and eventually chasing the market down through price reductions. With rates climbing, offering to fund a rate buydown for a buyer is often more effective than a straight price reduction. So if you have $10,000 that you're going to reduce the price by, applying it instead to a buydown that can save the buyer $400 or more per month in the first year, that's a much more compelling number for them than $10,000 off your list price. Well-presented homes in the median price band of $500,000 to $700,000 are still moving in under 3 weeks. So if your property has been sitting for over 30 days, it's a pricing and presentation problem, not a market problem. I did a full blog post on how to price your home right the first time, and the link is in the description below. So this is the Denver metro market for July of 2026. Prices are stable at $614,000, pace normal at 19 days, demand holding, inventory continuing to tighten, and rates climbing back up to 6.58%, the wild card headed into August. This is still a market that rewards preparation. Buyers who get ready before they need to be ready, and sellers who enter with realistic pricing and smart concession strategies are getting the best outcomes right now. So if you want to know what these numbers mean specifically for your neighborhood, your price range, or your timeline, reach out to me directly. The link is in the description. So I'll be back next month with the July data. If this was useful, subscribe so you do not miss it, and drop a question in the comments if there is a specific market or topic that you want me to cover next. I'm DC Turner with Navigating Denver, and we'll see you in the next one.